how much of an impact did Anki actually have? Have I ever considered learning another language with the same method? What is the key to understanding Japan's unspoken rules? Hey guys, it's Hypothetical Tiger or Aaron, or however you know me, and welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who I am, I'm Aaron. I've been learning Japanese through Immersion since 2020, and I moved to Japan in 2024, and I make videos here about my learning journey, about my life in Japan, and I've actually started making content trying to teach people how to learn Japanese as well. Before we move forward, I guess because I'm a YouTuber now, make sure you follow all my socials, make sure you like the video if you enjoy, comment, subscribe, all that fun nonsense. You can join the channel as a member as well if you would like. I figure making like a dedicated Q&A video would be like a fun way to answer questions, because I get a good amount of questions in the comments and a good amount of questions in DMs, so hopefully I can answer some that people want to know the answer to, and hopefully it's helpful. If you ever see me look down at the bottom left, that's because that's where my laptop is with the notes, and I'll probably just be reading the questions off of that, so yeah. Without further ado, let's get to the video, and I hope you enjoy. One question that I got from multiple people is if there's anything that I kind of like, regretted about the way that I learned Japanese. I wish I paid a little bit more attention to like pitch accent, like a lot earlier. I'm still not on the train that if you don't learn pitch accent, your accent's gonna suck and you're gonna be terrible and you're gonna die. But I think that even if I did something simple like do a little bit of the Kotsu test, or just like on the old Migaku add-ons, like make my cards be the color based on the pitch accent, I think that probably would have helped me a lot. So I kind of regret not doing that, if I'm honest. I've come to terms with like a lot of stuff about my accent and like just my Japanese in general. But so, kind of what are you going to do at this point, Shogunai? That's how I feel. But if I would have done that at the beginning, it probably would have made it so I don't have to make as much effort now if I want to improve, or if I want to like make my accent better, The pitch accent bros win again, shaking my head. And yeah, that's basically the only thing I can think of. There's not many things I regret just because things worked out and I had a lot of fun throughout the journey. Maybe I would regret the beginning about how, like, before I started immersing, how much I wasted time. But I think most people don't find immersion right from the beginning, so that's kind of everyone's regret. So I figure the pitch accent one is probably better, and like a real regret that I have that came up, especially after I learned and got good through immersion, Now, let's talk a little bit more about everyone's favorite program, Anki. So I had a question: how much of an impact did Anki actually have? This is interesting because I did Anki and then I quit Anki and now I'm back doing Anki. Personally, I think that the way that I did Anki was really helpful. And the reason that I say the way I did Anki is because I was very lax about it. My reviews were kind of just, did I kind of get the vibe of the word? Do I know the reading? Like, even if I messed up the reading when I was trying to like read it during the card, if it's a card that I obviously know, it's whatever, just pass it. I was very lenient on my cards, and I still am to this day. I also never made a backlog. I don't like backlogs. If you know me, that's the one thing that I'll always be like, shaking my head at Anki backlog. I don't like backlogs because I liked basically mining, and then later that day, automatically seeing it in Anki and get started on like the SRS journey with the word. So I didn't really like backlogs because I felt like every time I had a backlog, even if it was a backlog of like 30 or 40 cards, by the time I get 4 days in the future to learn those cards, I just felt like the connection between when I made the card when I was immersing and the actual like learning it in Anki part, I feel like the connection was weakened because it was like too far away. I think a lot of people could argue with this and say, oh, I've had no problem with backlogs, but this is just an opinion I don't think will change for me. I personally believe like the connection between you and your Anki card, like whether that's like the panel you made it from, the scene you made it from, etc. I think that's actually really important. So that's why I actually think that you should probably in the beginning mine manually more. I did that as well. That's another thing I genuinely think is good that I did. I think that mining manually forced me to like interface with the word at more than a surface level. Because when you have tools like Yomitan and stuff, you can click one button and then boom, the card's made, everything's made, and you don't see it again till Anki. So if you want to, you could find an unknown word, click make card, and immediately move forward. But with the way I did it, since it was all manually, I had to write the sentence on the card, I had to take the screenshot, paste the screenshot in, get audio if I wanted the audio, put the definition in, etc. So like, by the time I actually like did the card in Anki, I probably have seen that word and the definition like 3 or 4 times, because making the card I had to look it up and I was looking at it multiple times when I first decided to mine the card as well. So I think all that is really important. And then another thing that I know that my boy Jamal, Phantom Madman, likes to talk about is just like minimizing time in Anki and like doing it the dirty way, like I said earlier about how I was lenient. Just do it the dirty way. Don't spend a lot of time at Anki. Anki is really great when you use it for what it is. It's just a way to show you these words and these grammar points exist, and this is a relative meaning. So get that information and then go to Immersion where you'll actually learn like for real what these things mean and how to use them. So I think if you just honestly chill out on Anki, people go a little bit too crazy with their Anki addictions and the way they treat it. I think if you just chill out, you're actually gonna like get a lot of benefits as long as like you're not just like, oh, I thought that this was read chi, but it was read as go, and I read it as pass. Like, be like honest with yourself, but to a degree, you don't have to take it super seriously, because as long as you're immersing, that's where the real gains are gonna come from. The Anki's just there to like supplement that, so I wouldn't take it too seriously, honestly. But I think it is very helpful, and if you use it in a way that isn't gonna like piss you off or stress you out, then it's a tool that everyone should use because it makes learning way quicker, like insanely quicker. So here's another question. Have I ever considered learning another language with the same method? Yes and no, and I'll explain why. The yes part is that as an American growing up learning English, and from what I've heard, I assume that I can learn Spanish really easily. Now, maybe that's just me like thinking like, oh, well, Immersion, this shit's easy, I got this. But I like genuinely believe if I put like a year into Spanish, I would be fluent in like a year. And I think anyone who does Immersion learning could probably do the same thing. So just on that fact, I've thought about it. Because I'd be like, oh, it'd be funny to like, not funny, but like, it'd be fun to dedicate a year of my life, kind of, to like Spanish on the side and just see how good I get. Because I know that I'd be able to get pretty damn good just by immersing for an hour. And if I do 2 hours a day, I'd probably be really good at the end of a year, honestly. But I don't really have any like interest in any other language besides Japanese. So even though the idea of doing Spanish like that seems really fun and like something I would want to do, I don't think I could actually do it because, as we all know, it takes thousands of hours to like actually get good. Maybe Spanish would be different, but I don't see myself having the same motivation or like draw to a different language to keep me in it for that long. With Japanese, it was like I just kept finding new things that I enjoyed that were in Japanese, but a lot of it were things that I already was semi interested in beforehand or did beforehand. So like anime, I was obviously already interested in. Video games, I was obviously already interested in. Manga, I read a little bit in English, but not a crazy amount, so the Japanese opened that up, but I still read some manga. Like YouTube, I like YouTube in general, but and like Let's Plays and stuff, so like watching VTubers and streaming, that was easy. So it was just like really easy, and I didn't have to rely on like motivation for the like learning the language itself. It's just I let the content guide me, which I think is obviously how you should do it. But I don't have that pull to any other language, so I just don't think I could do it, honestly. Like I could force myself, right? Like there's obviously like if I wanted to learn Spanish or something, I could do it. There's enough content. It's just I don't think I would enjoy it enough to be able to keep going and like get to a decent level. So honestly, probably not. But besides Spanish, the one that I could think of is maybe I would learn like Korean because the grammar is similar to Japanese, and I had a like K-pop phase in high school, so it wouldn't be impossible. And I enjoyed the K-dramas I watched, so maybe if like I just like immersed for like 2 years just watching a bunch of K-dramas and stuff, maybe I'd get pretty good. But like I said, I just don't think I would enjoy it that much. So for now, just Japanese. Maybe that'll change, but for now, I'm just gonna stick with this one. Now let's go into a couple questions about living in Japan. What is the key to understanding Japan's unspoken rules? This is funny because I'm gonna answer. I actually answered this with Immersion. But you basically figure things out through Immersion. Not necessarily watching TV shows and stuff, but it can happen. So while you're in Japan and outside of Japan, you kind of just like look at what people do. In shows, you basically figure out what people do. When you're talking to people, you can ask them or see how they interact or how they do things. When you're in Japan, like lining up for the trains or stuff, everyone does the same thing, so you can kind of just follow and work it that way. I never put too much effort in understanding the rules that Japan has because, if I'm being honest, I don't know if this is a hot take, but Japan, like people always talk about like if you come to Japan, have good manners or stuff, and like all these rules and stuff. But to be honest, like those rules are all subjective at the end of the day. Like the objective stuff is like just don't be a shitty human, and I think everyone like kind of understands that. And then there's like the other rules that are like, oh, well, don't do this because I don't like it. That's what you, if you ever see a Japanese person online specifically complaining about something like that, and they say like how someone doesn't have manners or anything, it's almost always just because they did something that this person doesn't like. It's super subjective, and I think trying to give a shit about it is just going to stress you out, and you're not going to have a fun time. When I first moved here, I was really worried that I was breaking a rule at all times, and now I kind of just live my life, and if I am accidentally doing something wrong, either I'm told about it and I fix it, or I'm not told about it and I don't give a shit and I move on. Like if I'm doing something wrong and no one's gonna tell me it's wrong, then guess what? They must not give a shit. They must not care as much as they should, because I'm not gonna tell me and I'll fix it. But if you're not, I'm not putting an effort into it. And I think that's basically all you can do. You can do as much as you want. Try to copy Japanese people as much as possible. But at the end of the day, if you're doing something someone doesn't like, they'll probably just say that you're not following Japanese manners and shit and try to sweep it under the rug. So, I don't know, man. Just don't worry about it too much. It's unneeded stress. And the other thing is, Japanese people break these social rules all the time. So it's too much to worry about when you're already going to be treated differently as a foreigner. So don't add more bullshit that's just going to stress you out for no reason. In my opinion, that's how I go about it, to be honest. Another quick question, have I made any Japanese friends? I actually talked about this in my 2-year update video living in Japan, so check out that video if you guys haven't seen it yet. But in that video I talk about it. No, not really. I have a couple acquaintances and people that I know, like Shirai, that's how I view them. But nobody I can really call friends. I've had better and more friendships with other foreigners than Japanese people. But that'll change eventually, hopefully. And I only just moved here 2 years ago. We're only starting my 3rd year. I have a lot of life left, hopefully, because I just turned 25. So I have a lot of time to fix it. So I'm not as worried about it as I probably was in that video, or maybe I sounded, if I sounded a little worried. I'm not sure, though. Now let's talk a little about some finance and some personal life stuff. Ooh, boy, I love talking about finances. Hello, sorry. I was editing and I realized that I forgot to read the question. So the question for this is investing different as a foreigner living in Japan? Yeah. So thank you for forgetting to read it beforehand. This is one I think a lot of people will benefit from, but I just want to put the disclaimer out there that I may be wrong. I'm literally going off of just a bunch of Reddit threads and a bunch of research that I did myself. So if it's wrong, it's wrong. I'm sorry. But this is what I'm doing and how I'm taking care of things. So yeah, that's about it. The answer is different if you're an American citizen. If you're not an American citizen, you can basically invest in the exact same way a Japanese person does. And that's pretty based, and you don't really have to worry. So you just throw all your money into the all country fund in NISA till you die, and you basically just move on with life. As an American citizen, there is differences that you actually should look up and pay attention to, because otherwise you'll break the law. So don't do that. There's these things called PFICs, which is basically when a fund, I think it's when a fund is mainly foreign held, above a certain percent, I guess above 50% foreign based, you have to report it differently under these PFIC requirements. Bunch of bullshit, which basically means every Japanese mutual fund is not available, which means the Japanese NISA account, which is a tax-free investment account basically, you can put in up to 8 million yen, and then all gains are tax-free. And Japan has a 20% capital gains tax. So having 0% capital gains on up to 18 million deposited is insane. Because if you leave that 18 million for a long time, that's a lot of money, dude. Now, there are stipulations with this account. So half of it goes into the Tsumitate NISA, which can only be invested into mutual funds, which means I can't use it. I believe the upper limit on that is 6 million yen. So out of the 18 million yen, 6 million, I as a United States citizen cannot use, because it would qualify as a PFIC, and from what I read online, it's not worth the hassle going through the tons of paperwork to file it. It's just you're better off not doing it. So that sucks, which means there is 12 million left over. Now, up until recently, there wasn't a brokerage that would give a NISA account to a foreigner that allowed you to invest in foreign ETFs and stuff. And I say that because you can use Rakuten Securities and normal brokerages. I can make an account, but there's nothing I can legally, there are things I can invest in, but it would become PFICs. There's nothing that's PFIC free that I can invest in basically. But recently, Interactive Brokers Japan opened up their NISA, which means on the Seicho side, which is the 12 million side, you can actually invest in US-based ETFs. And since those are all US-based, in the eyes of the US government, it's all good. So because of that, I can actually now use Japanese retirement account and get at least up to 12 million deposited. Now, there's also like a yearly limit for how much you can deposit per year, but that's like whatever. Like the thing that matters is I can use 12 out of 18 million. So that's like the biggest difference. There's also some other stuff involved, which is also kind of stupid. Like if you have over $10,000 in a foreign bank account, you need to tell the US whether you have to pay taxes or not. You have to file taxes, so you have to report your income, which is stupid. I don't have to pay taxes in the US because my income is under the foreign tax thing, the tax exclusion, which I believe was 107,000 USD. It probably is going to go up. I don't know, but I'm well under that. So I don't have to pay a single cent to the United States tax-wise because we have a tax treaty with Japan, so I don't get double taxed. But the reporting requirements just existing are just another pain in the ass that I have to deal with, and it's annoying. So yeah, if you're coming to Japan as a US citizen to live here, especially if you already have retirement set up, you should talk to a tax professional before you do it, just to understand what your options are and how you're going to have to play the game. Because if you retire here, you're probably going to have to pay tax on money that you already assumed you didn't have to, depending on the account and like how a bunch of things work. So yeah, if you're coming here and that might be a problem, you should definitely talk to someone because you don't want to come here and then figure it out later. That sounds terrible. I was lucky because I moved here straight after college, basically. So my whole adult life and all that has basically been in Japan, so I didn't have to worry about previous jobs or retirement stuff that I had to worry about. Here's our personal questions. How did you meet your girlfriend? I think I've talked about this before, but we met on a Japanese dating app called Wizu. That's how it's pronounced, even though it's with. So I made an account, and if you don't know about Japanese dating apps, you got to pay money as a guy. Otherwise, you're not talking to anyone, basically. Good luck. You're screwed. So I pay my 3,000 yen or whatever, and I start talking to girls, and like, I don't know, like, there's no one like catching my eye or anyone like I really want to like talk to. And then randomly I match with this girl, and I get a message from her, and it's a picture of her like drinking like the nectar, I guess, or some shit out of like a flower. And I'm like, this person's a fucking weirdo. Like, I want to talk to them. This is awesome. And that happened to be my girlfriend, my now girlfriend. So yeah, she sent me that picture, and I'm like, and it was like late at night too. It was like 1 a.m, and I'm like, this girl is crazy. Like, this is whack, but like awesome. I'm like weird and I do stupid shit too, so that's funny. So I was like, oh hell yeah, this is the type of person I want to talk to. So we kind of just started talking from there, and then we quickly moved from the app to Line, and then within a couple days we were calling basically every day and having long phone calls, and yeah, we were about to meet up in person for the first time, and then she ended up going back home to Aomori. So there was like a month period where we were dating long distance because I knew I liked her, she knew she liked me. Like, even without meeting, like, we could just tell like that we were like, it was working, based on all our text message conversations and phone calls and stuff, and just how much we were doing it. So I was like, fuck it, I'm telling her I like her. I told her I like her. I'm like, I fucking kokohaku the shit out of that. I'm like, you want to date? And she was like, yeah. So yeah, then we started dating, and a month after we started dating, she came back to Tokyo, and we finally got to meet for the first time. And then yeah, from there I basically hung out at her apartment every single day, and then eventually we moved in together at our previous apartment, and then she just got a new job, so we moved to another place, and we still live together now. So yeah, it was very lucky. But yeah, I paid that 3,000 yen, and within like 2 days I basically had no reason to talk to any other girl. Also, this was my third Japanese dating app that I used. The first two I used were Tapple and Pairs. I like Tapple more than Pairs, and then With was just like, it worked out, so I was okay with it. But I think my favorite one, and the one that I got the most like dates on and being able to talk to girls and stuff, was definitely on Tapple. So I recommend. If you want to get better at like messaging girls in Japanese, or just getting better at like Japanese in general, just go on a bunch of dates and talk to girls on dating apps. Before I even moved here, I signed up for a dating app, on the free version. No, I actually paid for like a month, I think. Yeah. I actually signed up for like a month before I moved here. I signed up for a month of one of the dating apps, and I was just talking to girls like from America, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be in Japan in like a month. I'm moving. Yeah, because I was just like, fuck it, like I want to get out there, try to start talking to girls, and then also like it was great practice. I learned a lot of Japanese, and I got a lot better at like texting, and I think just casual, normal Japanese in general because I was just talking to a bunch of girls back then. So I recommend. That's a recommendation. What are your current short-term life goals? Gonna make these simple and quick. I talk about a lot of the goals in the 2-year Japan video, and then I'm also in my 6-year update video. I'll talk about Japanese goals more in depth. So I'll keep this like short and sweet. First one, go home and see my family and friends. I talked about in the 2-year update video. I want to go home. I'm excited. I cannot wait to go home. So that's definitely a goal on my list right now. Very. Next, I want to get my iPad and my NAS setup going. Oh my god. Because my immersion will then go insanely hard. Because I haven't been reading like any books. Because my laptop right now is currently like always plugged into my TV, always closed. Like as a TV like computer now that I have like a living room TV. So I don't want to unplug it to read. It's just a pain in the ass. And like I'm such a bitch. So like reading like physical books is effort, you know? So I want the iPad so I can finally read books again. I'll have the NAS going, so I'll have like my Plex server with all my anime, like all my TV shows and everything. So I'll just like the iPad is going to be an immersion machine. No app is going on that I could like screw up with. I'm not even putting YouTube on it. I love YouTube, but I don't watch Japanese YouTube. So guess what? It can stay off of my iPad. My iPad will just be like Plex, something to read manga, Anki probably, and maybe some other like stuff. But like that's it. It's going to be awesome. I cannot wait. Another thing is just like hang out with as many people as I can when they come to Japan or when I have free time. There's some people who are in Japan who I haven't been able to hang out with a little bit, who I haven't been able to hang out with in a little bit. So I definitely want to hang out with them and see them again. At the start of April, I'm actually hanging out with 2 people, so I'm super excited. But yeah, just hang out with people whenever I can. Every time I make time to hang out with people, and I do hang out with people, I have a crazy fun time. So I want to do that as much as possible when I can. The final little short-term goal is focus more on YouTube and content creation. I want to be more consistent and make like a bit of content that I think people would like enjoy or find value in. And I think I've started to do that with the shorts. I don't know if any of you guys have noticed. Thank you if you have. But I've been uploading shorts daily, trying to just reach more people. If you're watching this video, you probably don't need to watch my shorts. I'm just being honest with you. A lot of the shorts I'm trying to quote unquote appeal to normies. So I'm very much trying to like teach why sentence mining is cool, why you should learn Japanese from things you enjoy, why you should immerse, why like etc. Like those types of things. Just trying to like get people to like learn more about immersion and just like give tips on there, because I do eventually want to make that full how to learn Japanese guide. So the shorts are kind of like bits and pieces of my feelings on how to do things just in short form content to try and like get as many people to the channel and maybe like interested in immersion in Japanese as possible, I guess. Now let's do a couple rapid fire questions before we end this one off. Favorite HoloLive member? Okay, used to be Okayu, then it went to like not Okayu because she became like not chill. She became more like loud equals funny, and I wasn't enjoying that. Like I felt like her old like content was super chill and like relaxing, and I love that a lot. So I kind of fell off. And then I watched a little bit of Okami Miyu, Okami Miyu. And I watched her Resident Evil playthrough, and I enjoyed that, so that was cool, and I thought she was enjoyable to watch. But other than that, I haven't been watching a lot of VTubers, to be honest. I actually did the other day, not the other day, yeah, 2 days ago-ish. Okayu's doing a Final Fantasy IV playthrough, so I decided that I would watch that. So I think I'm going to try and watch that as she plays through. But other than that, not really doing VTubers right now. Another one, dating advice video. I don't really have any. Besides, if you get good at Japanese, then just like talk to a bunch of girls. It's a numbers game. You'll be fine. So get good at Japanese, and then just talk to a bunch of girls on dating apps, go on dates, and you'll probably figure it out. That's all I did. I'm not really like the hottest dude in the world. That's obvious just by looking at me. But it works out if you just talk to a bunch of girls and you know Japanese. So yeah, I guess, I don't know. Just go for it. That's what I would do. And that brings us to the conclusion. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know this is a little different than normal, and this is my first Q&A. I don't even really know if I filmed this right, or if I answered the good questions, or if I answered questions right or not. So yeah, I just hope that you guys enjoyed it, and if you liked videos like this, I would like to make more different content that's not just update videos and stuff. So yeah, just let me know if you enjoyed it, I guess. I hope you did. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, join the channel if you want to become a member. Follow my socials. They're all down below. And yeah, that's basically it from what I can think of. Go watch my latest update video where I talk about me living in Japan for 2 years and my overall experience. I do monthly live streams where you can hang out with me, talk, and ask me questions about immersion and stuff. And then I make those daily shorts. And there should be more content coming. Look out. Next video, April 1st. Be there or be square. I expect all of you to be there and watch it, and watch every single second. So look forward to that. Love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate if you made it to the end. And I guess, yeah, have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.